It's upstairs in the sitting room. Good evening, ladies. Welcome to How to Heal Your Gut, Burn Belly Fat, and Eliminate Aches and Pains Without Dieting or Drugs. I am really excited to share this information with you. I've put a lot of time and energy into it, and I know that it's much needed information. So before we get started, though, I'd love to just see where everybody's from. If you could just take like a couple seconds, just type in the chat box. Tell me where you're from. I think we've got people like registered from all over the world. I had some people sending me emails from like the UK and all kinds of different parts of the country. So I'm eager to hear where everybody's from. Let's see here. All right, cool. All right, we got some New Hampshireites. Yep, I'm here in New Hampshire. Wow. Okay. It's going so fast I can't read it. New York, Florida, Texas, Canada, Washington, California, Illinois, Oklahoma, Washington again, different parts of Canada. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Massachusetts, Pennsylvania. Wow. Maine, New York City, Oregon. This is pretty cool. I'm excited. We've got people from all over the place. Lebanon, New Hampshire, Montana. Where else? Where else? Iowa, New Orleans. We've got a few different people from Pennsylvania. Did I say Florida? Argentina. We have someone from Argentina. British Columbia. Wow. New Jersey. Let's see. I'm seeing a few people from Connecticut. Got a few people from New Hampshire. All right, New Hampshire's in the house. Pretty cool. Okay. Wow, I'm pretty amazed here. People from all over. Well, welcome. Alabama, Australia. Got someone from Australia. All right, wow. This is great. San Diego. Well, welcome, ladies. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. We're gonna get started because I've got a lot of information to share with you. So here we go. First of all, I'm going to ask you to make sure that you eliminate any and all distractions. The reason I want you to do that is because here, at the end of the day, you took the time out of your day to be here. I really want you to get the most out of this experience. So let's make sure, if you've got all your computer notifications, I just turn off. So like if an email comes through or somebody tries to contact you through Skype, turn all that stuff off. Put your cell phone on vibrate, put it away from you. Turn off any chat features or instant messaging, like I just said, if you've got Skype or anything like that. Close the door to whatever room you're in. Tell your husband, tell your grandkids, listen, don't bother me for the next hour and a half. I really want you to give me your 100% divided attention. Because here's the thing, if you're only partially paying attention, this information is not going to resonate with you. You're not going to get the most out of this experience. So do your best to eliminate all distractions. Okay. So I want to tell you, before we start digging in here, I have a special gift for you. But you got to stick around to the very end of the presentation to get it. But I've got a really cool video presentation series to give you. It's worth $49. You're going to get it for free if you hang around to the end. And basically, you're going to get some tools to help you overcome common sleep challenges without using sleep aids. You're going to get information about how to reverse arthritis naturally. And then you're going to get some information about how to prevent pharmaceutical-induced nutritional deficiencies. And these are some of the top experts in these fields. You're going to get those video presentations for free just for hanging out with me for the night. Okay. So I want to start by asking you some questions. I want to learn a little bit about you here. So I want you to tell me if you have struggled with digestive issues, chronic aches and pains, and or stubborn belly fat. Just type in a yes or a no. if you've struggled with any of those issues. Now, I imagine for most of you, the answer is going to be yes to at least one of those things, if not all of them, because that was the name of my presentation. So I imagine you wouldn't be here if you weren't challenged. Okay, so I'm seeing like tons of yeses come in. Okay, good. Then you're in the right place. If I was going to say, if you're not dealing with some of those issues, then you're probably, you'll learn something, but that's really going to be the main focus of our talk tonight. We're going to talk about how to overcome nagging digestive issues, chronic aches and pains, and belly fat. And we're going to talk about how to do it naturally. No drugs, simple changes in lifestyle. So my next question to you is, have you been successful addressing these issues on your own? Have you been successful trying to overcome your gut issues, overcome your aches and pains, get rid of the belly fat? Just give me a quick yes or no. Have you been successful on your own? Just type in a quick yes or no. Okay, so I'm seeing lots of no's. Not really, somewhat. Lots of no's though. Okay, that's okay. That's great, because by the end of our time together tonight, you should have a really good plan to kind of help you address those issues. Here's my next question. If you answered no or somewhat, why do you think you've been unsuccessful? What do you think is sort of the obstacle getting in your way? Just if you can kind of just tell me like in 1 or 2 words what you think is going on there. Do you think it's motivation? Do you think it's just not having a clear plan, not knowing the best way to do this naturally? I know like one of the things I hear over and over is I feel like I don't have the time to do it. Okay, so sticking with it is a challenge. I don't have the focus. I don't have the motivation, willpower. I've got hormonal imbalances. I don't know what to do. I've got stress, not disciplined, lack of knowledge. I've got back pain, chronic inflammation, feeling stressed out, inconsistency. My age, I hear that one a lot. Time, yeah, I hear that one a lot. Money, I hear that one a lot. Lots of conflicting information. Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of times people think it's because they don't have the time. They think it's age. I hear that one all the time. It's not age. I got to tell you that. It's not that you're not motivated. It's not that you don't have the willpower. I want to tell you what the real, in my experience as a coach, you know, working with women for over 10 years now, worked with hundreds of women. I'm going to tell you there are 3 main reasons why people are unsuccessful. You ready for this? The first reason is because you don't have the right knowledge of actually how to put together a plan that's realistic and sustainable. That's part of it. It's lacking the right knowledge. And there is a lot of conflicting information. So we're going to talk about that. It's about having the right tools. So a lot of times it's because you don't have the right tools to consistently stay focused on yourself and get back on track when life happens. Because it's not about being perfect all the time. It's about having strategies to get back on track. And the third reason is lacking the right support system. It is about having a support system that's going to give you the guidance, the encouragement, and the accountability that you need to make a lifestyle change. And this is about making changes that are sustainable. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. You're going to leave here with the right knowledge, the right tools, and the right support system. Because at the end of the day, those are the 3 bigs that are holding you back. Okay. So I want to make sure that you're in the right place. You are in the right place if you're at a point in your life where you realize it's time to take control and make a lifestyle change. And it's about maintaining them for life. You're in the right place if maybe you want to lose weight, but more importantly, you want to feel good. You want to wake up every day in a body that's energized, that's feeling strong and happy, a healthy body. You want to be able to enjoy life. You know, enjoy spending time with your kids, your grandkids, your husband. You're at a point where you realize you have the whole second phase ahead of you. And, you know, if you want to make the second phase of your life better, because I truly believe it can be better, then you need to start making some changes now. Here's the reality though. And this is what I find in my experience working as a coach. There are a lot of fears that are sort of holding us back from achieving these things. And as I see it, there are 3 fears. 3 common ones, and I want to address them because I want to make sure that if they're holding you back, we tackle them now. So here's one of the fears. Just this sort of feeling of overwhelm. Now, at the end of the day, if you've ever felt overwhelmed, you know that what that feels like. I know what it feels like. It stops you in your tracks and you never make progress. Sometimes you never end up taking the first step because you're so overwhelmed with information. So my goal tonight is to break it down for you so simply. I've got 4 steps, literally a 4-step plan. We're going to overcome the overwhelm together. We're going to cut through the clutter and just keep it really, really simple. That's the one thing that holds people back. The other thing is feeling that they're going to fail. There's this fear of failure. And so here's the thing. It makes sense if you've tried a lot of different things that, there's this sort of like, well, why should I try something new? This thinking, because what's going to be different? But, one of the things that I sort of remind myself when I sort of get stuck is that it's not that I failed. It just means that I'm missing something. I'm missing pieces. So we can't sort of let the past failures prevent us from making future successes. And in a little bit, I'm going to share my own health journey with you because I have struggled with my own issues for many, many years. And I felt really, really lost. So I understand that feeling like, well, why keep trying? Because, nothing seems to work. But you have to keep reminding yourself that at the end of the day, it's because you're missing some pieces. It's just a matter of finding the right pieces and putting them together. And then there's the thought, what if it's too late? So many women over 50 have this fear that, this is just part of being my age. This is part of just being in menopause. Is it too late? Is it too late for me to reverse the osteoporosis? Is it too late to reverse these gut issues that I've had for years? Is it too late? I've had this belly fat for as long as I can remember. And I'll tell you this, if you're willing to do 2 things, I have no doubt that you can reverse pretty much any health condition that you set your mind to reversing. The first one is taking responsibility for your choices and being willing to make a lifestyle change. And at the end of the day, if you're willing to do those 2 things, I truly believe you can overcome it. I'm going to share some success stories with you tonight of women, all over 50 who have all kinds of health issues that they thought they could never overcome. But by applying the things I'm going to teach you, they've achieved amazing things in their lives. So if they can do it, you can certainly do it. All right. I want to tell you why I coach women over 50. One of the reasons is because of my mom. This is a picture of my mom and me from a few years ago. We took a trip to Newport, Rhode Island, which is a very cool place to go if you've never been. I don't know if we've got anyone from that area. Beautiful. We went in the summer. And I love this picture. I wanted to share this with you because my mom's really my biggest source of inspiration in founding Better Beyond 50. And so this is just sort of a trip we took together, mother-daughter, just enjoying a nice dinner together, just talking about, the sightseeing. We're going to visit the mansions and, do some shopping at the local boutiques and, go to the beach. And, I share this with you because my mom is such an important person in my life. And she's really sort of been the main person to sort of inspire me to go out on this mission and create Better Beyond 50. And, the thing about my mom is that she's like so many women in the Better Beyond 50 community. She spent most of her life taking care of everybody else, right? Her kids came first. Her husband came first. She even, went above and beyond for my cousins and, my aunts and uncles. I mean, it was everybody first. That's just the kind of mom, that my mom is, taking care of everybody else. But over the years, what's happened is she's put everybody else first. She's put herself on the back burner. And, she hasn't been making her own needs a priority. Her own well-being has sacrificed. And, as she's entered her midlife years, I've watched her really struggle with weight and deal with chronic aches and pains and fatigue and sleep problems and, cholesterol issues and blood pressure issues. And, at the end of the day, she's sort of trained herself to focus on everybody else. And she's never learned to take care of herself. And she's one of those people, like a lot of women, she had no idea where to begin. She thought just the idea of making change was overwhelming for her. And so I founded Better Beyond 50 with my mom in mind and heart because I realized that there were a lot of women like her. You know, I've as a certified nutrition and fitness coach, I've literally worked with hundreds of women, many of them over 50. And I knew, you know what, there's so many women that need this. So I created this step-by-step holistic health coaching system to help empower these women, including you, with the confidence that you need to basically start putting your self-care at the top of your priorities. So I created Better Beyond 50 for all the women over 50, you know, of my mom's generations, and to help them take care of them, you know, their health and start putting themselves first. So here's the thing. I want to address, there's an elephant in the room, as I've just revealed. So I imagine you're saying, okay, so Melissa, if your mom's in her 60s, that means you can't possibly be in your 50s. So why should I trust you? I mean, what do you know about maintaining good health over 50? In full disclosure, I'm 39 years old. So what does a 39-year-old woman know about helping women over 50? And these are really fair questions. So I want to make sure that I address them. And I'm going to share something very personal with you. So I don't know what it's like to be over 50, but I know what it's like to feel like crap. Because I had a lot of health issues going on a number of years ago. So about 10 years ago, here's what was going on. Get ready, because it's a very long list. I suffered from chronic fatigue pretty much from the time I was in high school all the way up till the time I was in my early 30s. I had severe sweet cravings. I can admit it now, but I was a chocoholic. I had really bad sleep issues. Did not sleep through the night for many years. Adult acne, constipation, stomach issues. My doctor diagnosed me with IBS. I had unexplainable mood swings, severe anxiety, brain fog, hip, back, and shoulder pain, frequent colds. I got sick every year for, you know, probably about 10 years straight, from the fall to the winter, constantly getting sick. Chronic female issues, like lots of issues with my cycles and urinary tract infections and yeast infections. Gaining weight, especially around my hips, my butt, my thighs. Can you relate to that? And like you, I've tried a lot of different things. You know, when you're not feeling good, there's this sort of natural desire to figure out how to feel better. And, you know, I was a little concerned because I was only in my teens and 20s when this was going on. You know, my relatives in my 40s, their 40s and 50s were sort of talking about all these health issues. And I was like, geez, I better do something now. Otherwise, you know, things are going to get really bad when I'm in my 40s and 50s. So I tried a lot of different things. I tried fad diets, and I've bought countless exercise videos and DVDs, and I joined the gym and I hired a trainer. I did exercise classes. I consulted with doctors and nutritionists, fitness experts. I became a certified personal trainer. You know, I even became a metabolic typing nutrition advisor. I did all these different things. But after all of this stuff, I still wasn't feeling any better. In fact, I started to feel worse because I was treating myself like a guinea pig. So what I did was I immersed myself in as much educational resources as I could get my hands on. I've literally spent thousands of dollars and countless hours attending seminars and workshops, getting advanced certifications. You know, I became a trainer, a nutrition advisor. I became a holistic lifestyle coach. I've read tons and tons of health books. And once I sort of sifted through all the BS, and it's taken me a few years because there's a lot of it out there, I discovered the core concepts and distilled them down into 4 simple steps, which I'm going to share with you tonight. And what I did was I took those 4 steps and I applied them on my very first client. And that very first client was me. So after many years of kind of sabotaging myself because I was very obsessed about weight and I didn't focus on my well-being, I was just concerned about what the number on the scale said, constantly looking for that magic solution with every diet and fitness program, I finally got off that hamster wheel. And I changed my thinking from, you know, okay, I have to follow a strict diet and exercise plan, to focusing on making small, sustainable lifestyle changes that felt right for me. And I'll tell you something, by taking this holistic approach and making really simple changes in my stress, sleep, movement, eating habits, looking at the whole picture, I've been able to overcome every single one of my own health problems. And I can honestly tell you that I feel better now than I did when I was a teenager. And this is just a quick snapshot of where I was a little over 10 years ago and sort of where I'm at today. I really feel like an entirely different person. And after I got my own health on track, I started coaching other women, a lot of women who happen to be over 50. And here's the thing. You know, the fact of the matter is I don't need to be a woman in her 50s to understand what it takes to be healthy in the second phase of life. Because here's what I'll tell you. The keys to amazing health are universal to women of all ages. And it really comes down to taking that holistic approach. How you eat, how you move, how you sleep, how you manage stress. That is the key right there. And the other piece is how you see yourself in the aging process. I would probably say that's probably the most important piece. If you're someone who believes that feeling crappy is just the natural part of getting older, then that right there in and of itself is part of your roadblock. And I'm hoping that tonight we can overcome that. So I've literally coached hundreds of women over 50 through my health coaching program, sort of applying this holistic system that I've developed. 4 simple steps, and you're going to use it to boost your digestion, strengthen your bones, and burn your belly fat. And I want you to understand that these steps are not meant to sort of be separated from each other. It's a system. So each step builds on the previous step. So you literally think of like a set of stairs. You take the first step, you master that one, and then you take the second one. And then you master that and you take the third one, and so on and so on. So failure to apply all 4 steps is really why I feel most health programs fail, because they focus on just one aspect of wellness, and we need to look at the whole picture. So I want to take a minute here before I give you my plan. We're going to get right to it. I just want to take a minute to tell you about a couple of women that I've worked with where I've applied this system and the results they got. So this is Maureen, and she came to me because she was tired. She's like, I'm not motivated. She's like, I'm having night sweats and hot flashes, and she's going through the menopausal experience, and she's like, I just don't think this is normal. So I said, I don't think it is either. So I'm going to teach you how to make simple changes in your diet and manage stress differently and exercise, and we'll see what happens. And it was pretty amazing. Just after a couple weeks of working together, she lost weight, inches started to come off, energy went up. She started sleeping through the night. That's a common issue I hear. So many of our members have a hard time sleeping through the night. We're going to talk more about that, but she started sleeping through the night, and she was having issues specifically with night sweats. They completely went away. So this is what's really cool. This is not just about weight loss here. This is truly about feeling better. And this is Pat. Pat came to me because she said, listen, I have a lot of stress in my life. I'm not feeling good. So again, applying the 4-step system that I'm going to show you, she lost 40 pounds. I think she's actually lost even more weight since we did this testimonial, maybe even like about 60 pounds. She went down a few pant sizes. Easy for her to get around now. She knows she's an avid hiker, so it's easier for her to do that. And I love this. She said, you know what? I've gotten so used to feeling good. Now I forget how bad I used to feel. And this is a woman, who had many years of sort of struggling with this stuff. And so as you can see, if you're willing to make simple lifestyle changes, pretty amazing things can happen. And these women weren't doing like fad diets or crash fitness programs. They're doing the exact system that I'm going to show you. And now it's your turn, right? It's your turn to kind of turn the leaf and start feeling better. All right, I hope you're ready because we're going to dig in. Here we go. Here's step 1 of your 4-step plan. The first thing you have to do is make sure you keep your self-talk in alignment with your health goals. Now, you tell me if some of this language sounds familiar. I'm so tired. I feel like a slug. I'm sick and tired of being fat. My belly is hanging out of my pants. Nothing fits right. I'm so achy that my joints hurt. My acid reflux keeps acting up. I can't sleep. I feel like crap. We could keep going here. Like we could list hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of sort of negative self-talk. But these are some of the ones that I know are going through some of your mind because they're the ones that my clients are talking to me about. The reason we're talking about this is because if you want to start seeing changes in your physical body, you have to start thinking about how you talk to yourself and how that manifests physically. So at the end of the day, the thoughts we have essentially create the words we speak about our health. The words we speak about our health dictate how we treat ourselves, the actions we take, and then the actions we take ultimately create the results we have in our health. So here's how this works. And I actually learned the science of this from a friend of mine who's a brain trainer named Dana Wilde. And what I've learned from her, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty simple too, is that we have something in our brains called a reticular activating system. And what it does is it acts like a matchmaker. And its job is to match whatever we're thinking to the outside world. So whatever thoughts we think repeatedly, our brain is going to say, okay, I'm going to help you find that in your environment. So I'm sure you've heard this saying that, what you think about, you bring about. And I really want you to think about this, because I'm going to give you a little exercise to help you really kind of pay attention to how your physical health problems could be tied to what you're thinking about. So here's an example. Let's just say that you keep focusing on the fact that you can't lose your belly fat. That's one I hear over and over. I'm having such a hard time buttoning up my pants. I hate my belly fat. Well, if you keep focusing on it, what ends up happening is you sort of continue to manifest that, and that's exactly what keeps showing up. So here's what I mean. Here's a real example. Let's say you have the thought, I'm sick and tired of this muffin top. You keep thinking about it, and you think about it, and think about it, focus on it. And then you find yourself saying out loud, I can't button up my pants, I can't button up my pants. Well, then all of a sudden, your actions will start to support the thinking and the words, because that part of your brain, the reticular activating system, or that matchmaker, is going to say, well, okay, if that's what you believe, I'm going to make sure that that's what keeps happening. And so all of a sudden, you're going to find your eating and lifestyle habits are going to support that thought. They're going to support weight gain. So whether it's, choosing to eat foods that contribute to weight gain, whether it's choosing to exercise or not exercise, it's choosing to go to bed late, or whatever it is, you've convinced yourself that this muffin top is here to stay. And so your actions are going to support that. And so in the end, the thoughts, the words are dictating the actions, and the actions are going to create that result. Okay, well, we're going to keep the weight gain going because you've convinced us that that's what you want. So if you have the result in your mind, we'll just continue with the belly fat here. I want to lose the muffin top. You have to change your actions. Everyone knows that, right? I need to eat better. I need to sleep better. I need to move more. But in order to get to that place where you're going to make sustainable changes in your lifestyle, it starts with how you talk to yourself and think about yourself in regards to your well-being. So here's an exercise I want you to start doing over the next 24 hours. And I promise you, if you start doing this, you're going to start to notice that your very thinking is one of the biggest things holding you back. So the first step is you're just going to pay attention to your thoughts. And you're just going to focus on the thoughts that really kind of give you a strong emotional charge. So you're not going to pay attention to okay, I got to get gas in the car tomorrow. I got to take out the garbage. Not those kinds of thoughts. Those are just sort of like empty thoughts. They're not really doing much. It's the thoughts that have a really strong negative charge with them. And I want you to pay attention to not only the thoughts that are really negative, and you know what I'm talking about, the thoughts that you have about yourself, how you feel in your clothes, how your body aches every day. Just really pay attention to those. And notice if you have the same thoughts creeping up. And I bet you'll find that there's at least a handful of things that you say to yourself over and over and over again that are starting to sort of become a belief system for you because you keep repeating them. As you're having the thought, this is a really important step. Make sure that you're not judging yourself. So you say, oh, gosh, I'm so fat in these pants. And then you're like, oops, oh gosh, why am I saying that? That's so mean. Just observe the thought, but don't judge yourself, because it's sort of like pouring gasoline on a fire. You're taking a not so good situation and you're just amplifying it. So don't judge yourself. The main purpose is just for you to start noticing if the circumstances in your life match up with what you're saying to yourself. And I promise you, if you do this, you're going to start to see that they are. So ask yourself when you have the thought, is this thought matching up in my life in some way? So the first step, again, is just observe your thought and keep in mind that our thoughts create emotions. So if you are thinking about how disgusting you feel in a pair of pants, that is physically going to make you feel probably anxious or sad, or maybe even a little bit angry, frustrated. It's going to evoke a negative emotion because a thought creates an emotion. So really pay attention to that. Because the thing is, if you keep telling yourself that thought over and over and over again, what happens is it eventually becomes your belief. And so this is the thing. Let's say you're overweight, or you have chronic aches and pains, or chronic digestive issues. If you start sort of talking to yourself over and over and over, and you just keep focusing on the negativity, the aches and pains, you keep focusing on the chronic acid reflux, whatever it is, over time, you start to believe that that's just who you are. And I'll tell you, that was me 10 years ago. Until I started to realize I had to change how I thought about my health, things were never going to be different. And I, at one point, actually thought that because so many of my relatives had a lot of the same health issues, I thought, well, I guess this is just in my genes. This is just part of my life. It's just part of my destiny. So when you believe that, that's how things are going to be, because that's the belief system that you've accepted. So just understand that if you accept something like this as a belief system, your behavior is just going to keep matching up to it. So here's the second step. Once you've really started to pay attention to the thought, it's time to break it. And this is where this takes a little bit more work. It takes a lot of practice. I have to constantly work on it. So as you have the thought, catch yourself. As soon as you have the thought, pay attention to it. And then you need to turn the negative self-defeating thought into a mantra that's in alignment with what you actually want to achieve. So here's how you do it. There's 4 steps. You take the negative thought, you make it positive. It needs to make you feel good. It needs to be stated in the present tense, and it needs to be believable for you. So here's a really simple way of doing this. Let's just say you have this thought. It's the middle of the day and you're crashing and you're like, I need sugar. So you have some cookies. You eat 6 cookies. And then you sort of have this thought, oh gosh, I can't believe I just ate 6 cookies. Like, what is my problem? And then you're like, and not only that, I didn't even exercise today. Like, I'm not making the time to exercise and I'm eating this junk food. What's my problem? Why can't I stay on track? So the first thing you do is you ask yourself, okay, whoop, red light, is this the thought I want to keep showing up in my life? Do I want to keep telling myself that I can't stay on track? Do I want to keep telling myself that I have a problem? Well, the answer obviously to that is no. I don't know anyone who wants to keep creating that. So that's when you stop yourself, you change the thought, and you replace it with a different statement. And so here's how this could look. So maybe instead of saying, I shouldn't have had those cookies, or I can't believe I had the cookies, I didn't even exercise, what you could say to yourself is, I really, wish I had more discipline to make healthier food choices and exercise every day. I wish, right? We say that a lot. But I would say that's still probably not a great statement. That still doesn't feel good to tell yourself you should have more self-discipline, because that makes you feel like you're not doing something right. So here's another one. Well, you could say, I really wish I could eat whatever I wanted and I never had to exercise. I hear that all the time. I just wish I could eat whatever I want and I never had to exercise. But let's face it, our bodies are designed to eat really good food, and we're designed to eat. Mother Nature wants those things. So we don't really wish we could just eat crappy foods and be sedentary. I don't think we really want that. That doesn't feel good. So maybe you say, you know what? I just wish I had a private chef and a personal trainer. I hear this all the time. If someone cooked for me all the time and I had a trainer come to my house every day, that would help me stay on track. But you know what? The reality is that's not true. It really isn't true. Because at the end of the day, you have to have a burning desire to be healthy to maintain these changes. And the reason I know this is because I've consulted with clients that have personal trainers and personal chefs, and they still don't stay on track because they have not changed their belief system. So this is just sort of fantasy land. This isn't real. This doesn't feel good. Okay, here's another one. I make healthy food choices and I'm motivated to exercise every day. There's a mantra. But here's the thing. Does it make you feel good to feel like you have to be perfect all the time? And you know what? Most of us, it's not real to say I'm going to do it every single day. I'm going to make healthy food choices every day. I'm going to be motivated to exercise every day. It's just not real. It's not believable. Let's try this one. I love the way eating healthy food and dancing to my favorite music makes me feel. Now, here's what's different about this one than of all the other ones. It's not only positive, but it's realistic. Isn't it realistic to say, I feel good eating healthy food? That's not wishy-washy. You're not telling yourself you're perfect all the time, but you're saying, you know what? Hey, I feel good when I eat this way. I feel good when I dance, when I get moving. Or maybe for you, it's gardening. Whatever it is, you can replace that with whatever kind of movement you like. So it's a positive statement. It's realistic. It makes you feel good because it's real, and it's stated in the present tense. And so this is what I'm talking about. When we have the thoughts, when we start to judge ourselves for not being perfect, because you never will be, you have to nip those thoughts in the bud, because they will sabotage you over and over and over again. And so we need to kind of just really take inventory of how we're talking to ourselves. So here's the secret. The reason why you're going to find some women are really successful maintaining their desired weight, overcoming the aches and pains, healing their gut issues. These are the women that just seem to it seems really easy for them. Here's what they're doing. They are really good at keeping their self-talk in alignment with what they want. That's it. That's the secret. I can guarantee you they're not perfect people, but what they're good at is redirecting their thinking when it starts to kind of veer them off track. That's the ticket. So these women don't have more time. They don't have more money. They don't have more of something that you don't have. They really don't have anything that you don't have to be your happiest and healthiest. So that's the good news. And what's great about this is that how much time and money does it take to just practice shifting your thinking? Doesn't cost you anything, and it takes just a few seconds. That's the beautiful thing. So just to recap, step 1 of your 4-step plan to heal your gut, eliminate the aches and pains, burn the belly fat, whatever your health goals are, is to keep your thoughts in sync with your goals. And you can do that exercise as soon as you get off the phone for the next 24 hours. I want you to pay attention to your thoughts and start interrupting them. All right. Here's your second step. We're going to change gears here. And we're going to talk about food, because at the end of the day, you can be a really optimistic and positive person, but if you do not eat foods that support an anti-inflammatory lifestyle, you're going to sabotage yourself. So there's 3 parts to your nutrition plan. Eating organically as much as possible, and I'm going to talk about that, eating anti-inflammatory foods, and eating foods in balanced proportions for your metabolic nutritional type. So let's break this down. We're going to talk about why it's important to eat organically first. We have about 3,000 chemicals added to our food supply every year. We have about 15,000 chemicals total that are used in food production. So from the minute a food, leaves a farm and it goes to the shelf at a grocery store, we're talking about 15,000 chemicals that are being used. Things like hormones, antibiotics, fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, food additives, artificial sweeteners, hydrogenated oils, high fructose corn syrup. I can't list them all because I said there's 15,000. That's just to give you an idea. Lots of chemicals. Foods are being genetically modified, and foods are also being irradiated. So what does this mean for you? What it means is that when we expose ourselves to all these hormones and chemicals, pesticides and herbicides, all that stuff, it leads to inflammation in the body. We're not meant to eat these things. And what does it mean when the body becomes inflamed? It means that you're going to set the stage for some serious health problems, because at the root of inflammation is pretty much a link to some kind of major disease. And I've been reading a lot about inflammation personally because it's something that's very interesting to me. And I've heard a number of different holistic health experts basically say every major health issue, whether it's heart disease, cancer, diabetes, dementia, whatever it is has some sort of tie to inflammation. So this is really important. And you might be saying, oh, I don't need to worry about that. Everyone needs to worry about inflammation. We need to think about it. So the other thing to think about is that it's also tied to obesity. So being fat, in simple terms, is being inflamed. If you are overweight, you have some kind of inflammation in your body. So I get asked this a lot. Okay, how do I eat organically on a budget? And in the interest of time, I go into a lot more detail in some of my more extended programs. But I'm just going to kind of give you a little bit of something to kind of leave here from. Just a couple tips here, how you can go about prioritizing organic foods. The first place you start is with your fats and oils. Fats and oils are building blocks for our cell membranes, and they help reduce inflammation, and they also help us absorb vital vitamins. So you want to make sure that you are buying the top quality oils and fats. So we're talking about things like coconut oil, butter and ghee, real butter, real ghee, just like your grandmother had many years ago. No chemicals added, no funky dyes, lard, pork fats. People think there's this misconception that animal fats are bad. when the reality is it's what we evolved eating, and it comes down to the quality. So if you're eating pork fat from a conventional animal, that is bad news. And I'm going to talk about animal proteins that are not organic in just a second. But pork fat, believe it or not, is a beautiful, healthy fat. Meat sources, seafood, full-fat dairy, eggs, good quality organic sources are wonderful sorts of fat. And I have stars there next to seafood, full-fat dairy, and eggs because the thing about these foods is that they are allergens for some people. And we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. But assuming that these are not allergens for you, they're great sources of fat. Okay, so your second budget priority is going to be protein. So when I talk about protein, I'm pretty much talking about something from an animal, whether it's meat, it's poultry, it's eggs, some sort of seafood. But as much as possible, you want to buy organic. If it's wild, if it's seafood, you would go wild. But you also want to try to get grass-fed. And here's why this is important. Animals are like human beings, and they keep toxins in their fat cells. So when an animal has been pumped with antibiotics and hormones and, been fed food that has pesticides and herbicides and fungicides and all these toxins, the animal gets sick. And we then eat that sick animal. And so there are a lot of people that have concerns about eating animal proteins. And so they say, well, gosh, I don't think I want to eat them because they make me sick. And if you're eating conventional ones, that's true. So we need to make the distinction between organic grass-fed animal sources and then the conventional ones, because they're two very different things. The third budget priority is going to be your fruits and vegetables. And so a really good place to start is going to be with the Dirty Dozen. And you can easily look up online Dirty Dozen, and you can print up the Dirty Dozen Shopper's Guide. But here's what you're going to find. I'll kind of just save you some of the time and energy. These are the top 12. Really, I think they've since added, so really there's like 14. But your strawberries, apples, nectarines, peaches, celery, grapes, cherries, spinach, tomatoes, sweet bell peppers, cherry tomatoes. Oh, did I put that? Okay, sorry. I meant to say cherries, tomatoes, and cherry tomatoes. So 3 different things. Cucumbers, hot pepper, and then kale and collard greens. Those are sort of the big ones that have the highest residue of pesticides. So if you're trying to prioritize fruits and vegetables, that's a really good place to start. Okay, so that's the first part, buying organic foods to reduce inflammation. Now here's the second one, addressing hidden allergens that are causing what's called food-induced chronic inflammation. Now here's the thing, it's estimated that more than 50% of us have sensitivities to certain foods. There are certain foods that just don't agree with us. And what's happening is it's creating inflammation deep in our cells and tissues. So how do you know if you're someone who's being affected by food-induced chronic inflammation? Well, one way, the most practical way, the most affordable way is to do what's called an elimination diet by eliminating hidden food allergens or sensitivities and by following an anti-inflammatory diet. So that means eating foods that reduce inflammation. And by the way, what are some of those foods? Well, they're the 3 food groups I just listed: healthy fats, healthy animal proteins, and healthy carbohydrates, organic carbohydrates. Those are some examples of anti-inflammatory foods. But let's talk about some of the inflammatory foods. So when I talk about food-induced chronic inflammation, I'm talking about something called a delayed allergy. And a delayed allergy, it's a delayed allergy reaction. It's very different from eating like something that's called an immediate allergy. So, the most common one that most people think of is peanuts. Like someone eats a peanut and they go into anaphylactic shock, and then they go to the ER with hives and a swollen tongue and they can't breathe. We're talking about a delayed allergy reaction, and this is a very common but hidden problem. And I want to talk about this because you could have it and not know it. You would probably know if you had an immediate allergy. My brother has an immediate allergy to shellfish and nuts, certain nuts. If he eats them, he could die. He can't breathe, and it's quite scary. So we're not talking about that kind of allergy. We're talking about a hidden allergy. It's very common. It's not recognized by conventional medicine. So even if you say, well, I go to the doctor and I get my checkup, they're not evaluating this kind of allergy. So we need to talk about this because so many women are dealing with it. It's causing crazy inflammation in their bodies. And they don't realize it's one of the main reasons they have weight issues and all these other health problems. So a delayed allergic reaction can trigger symptoms anywhere from a few minutes to within a few hours, even sometimes a few days after eating certain foods. And here's what can happen. These are some of the signals. It could be weight gain, it could be fluid retention, it could be fatigue, brain fog, IBS, mood problems, headaches, sinus problems, congestion, joint pain, acne, or eczema. Now, this is not an exhaustive list because there's lots of other signals, but these are just some of the common signals. So how do you get tested? You can do a blood test, but they are not 100% accurate. So the best thing to do is, as I said before, an elimination diet. Now, you might be saying, okay, Melissa, wait a minute. The title of your presentation says you're going to teach me how to burn my belly fat and heal my bones and heal my aches and pains without a diet. So I just want to be clear here. We're not talking about a traditional diet in the sense where, you deprive yourself of foods and, you starve yourself. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about taking very specific measures to figure out if you have food sensitivities or allergies, because if you do, you have to take it very seriously and you have to take the right measures. So here's how an elimination diet works. What you do is you eliminate the top 9 offending foods for a minimum of 30 days. Some people say 21. When I work with a client, I like to do it for a good 30 days. And then what you do is you reintroduce the foods one at a time, paying attention to how your body responds. So you might be saying, okay, well, what are those 9 foods? These are the top 9 food allergens that gut health expert Dr. Mark Hyman has identified. So one of them is gluten, and that can be in the form of wheat, barley, rye, oats, spelt, or kamut. Dairy. So any sort of, whether it's milk, cheese, butter, anything made with ice cream, anything with dairy. Corn, which by the way is really technically a grain, but people think of it as a vegetable. Eggs. Soy, nuts, and nightshade vegetables. So tomatoes, bell peppers, potatoes, and eggplant, those are the big ones. Citrus fruits and yeast products. Now you might be saying, oh my gosh, that means like everything in my diet. What do I eat? I'll tell you what, this is pretty much the diet that I eat, with the exception. I don't have issues with eggs and I don't have issues with nuts or nightshade vegetables. So those are foods that I personally eat. But at the end of the day, you can still be eating good quality animal proteins, good quality fats, and good quality vegetables. So you're not really dieting. You're eating some of the healthy foods, but you're cutting out the ones that you could potentially have issues with. And then so after the 30 days, you reintroduce them one at a time, and you wait 72 hours before you introduce the next one. And the reason that's important is because sometimes it can take up to 72 hours for your immune system to kind of get on its legs again. So if you reintroduce a food too soon, you may keep sort of reacting and not know what it is that you're reacting to. A good tip is to keep a food journal, monitor your sleep, monitor your moods, energy levels, digestion, and pay attention to any sort of reaction. It could be fatigue, insomnia, joint pain, skin problems, headaches, bowel changes, bloating, it could be anything. Pay attention to how you feel. That's how you're going to know. By eliminating the foods that you have potentially a sensitivity or allergy to, you're going to notice immediate changes in your body. And if anything, you should feel better. Whether it's more energy, aches and pains go away, weight loss. I see all kinds of amazing things happen with my clients. Now, I want to take a minute here to talk about the top 3 foods that also trigger inflammation, that are not necessarily common allergens, but they trigger inflammation. So I'm talking about alcohol, sugars, and starches. So just to clarify, I think everyone knows what alcohol is. Just to clarify, sugars are pretty much anything, whether it's white sugar, brown sugar, maple syrup, honey. Starches are going to be grains. They're going to be your potatoes. What did I say? Starches, potatoes, Yams, winter squashes, any kind of bean, those are going to sort of fall into the starch category. Why are they a problem? Here's the thing, they turn into sugar. And anytime you eat something that turns into sugar, it causes your blood sugar to elevate. It causes your insulin levels to elevate. It causes your stress hormones to elevate. And that's a nice little recipe for inflammation. And so all of this sets the stage for the weight gain, the bone problems, the gut problems, the high blood pressure, the high cholesterol, etc., etc., etc. So these are some other common foods that are causing problems for people. So we've talked about organic foods. We've talked about eliminating potential food allergens. We've talked about eliminating the top 3 foods that trigger inflammation. And I want to now take a minute to talk to you about metabolic nutritional typing. And this is important because what it does is it teaches you how to balance meals for your unique needs. When you balance your meals, you balance your blood sugar. When you balance your blood sugar, you reduce inflammation. When you reduce inflammation, you heal your gut, your bones, you lose weight, etc., etc. So that's the beauty of this. Eating balanced meals is really simple. It's about making sure you have the right amounts of proteins, fats, and carbs for your body's unique needs. So I want to give you an analogy to illustrate my point. Creating a balanced meal is like creating a fire. So if you want to start a fire, you're going to need some kindling wood and some newspaper. That's kind of what carbohydrates are like. They get you going kind of quickly. They burn into energy quickly. But as you know, if you light a match to some kindling wood or some newspaper, it's not going to burn for very long, right? It's going to burn out pretty fast. So if we want to keep the fire going, we have to put logs on the fire. We have to put proteins on the fire. So this is why animal protein is really, really important. One of the benefits is that it helps you stay satiated, especially fats. So not just, the coconut oil, the lard, the butter, avocado. Technically that's a fruit, but it's a wonderful source of fat. So these are really, really important for creating a nice balanced meal that's going to balance your blood sugar and it's going to keep you feeling good. How do you determine your metabolic type? Well, here's the thing. The best thing to do is to actually do a metabolic typing assessment. And there's actually a questionnaire that you can take. But in the interest of time, I'm going to kind of show you a really simple thing you can do if you're not able to do the metabolic typing assessment. The next thing you can do is to just learn how to pay attention to your body to see if you're balancing your meals properly. So when we talk about the metabolic typing, there's basically 3 types. There's someone who's a mixed type, and that person's going to need to eat 50% of their plate carbohydrate. That green, by the way, represents carbs, fruits and vegetables. They're going to need to eat about 40% protein and about 10% fat. So the blue represents fat and the 40% represents protein. So just to keep it simple, I like to use like the palm of my hand sort of as a serving size. So that person's going to be eating 50-50 ratio protein/fat to carbohydrate. I'm a mixed type myself. Protein type is going to have about around a third of their plate is going to be carbohydrate. That's in green. And then about 2/3 is going to consist of protein. Again, that's in the red, and the fats are in blue. So about 2/3 fat and protein, 1/3 carbohydrate. And then the carb type is going to be about, again, these aren't exact numbers, but 70%, around 2/3, just over 2/3 of carbohydrate and about 1/3 of protein and fat. So again, the green represents the fruits and vegetables, the red represents the fat, and the blue represents the fat, and the red represents the protein. So if you're going to use the palm of your hand as a serving size, a mixed type would be 1:1, 1 palm to 1 palm. Protein type would be 2 palms of protein to 1 palm of carb, and a carb type would be 2 palms of carb to 1 palm of protein. That's basically, just in very simple terms, how we would kind of start balancing our meals. Now, again, you want to start with a metabolic typing assessment, but what you can do to get started right away before you even take the assessment is just start paying attention to how you feel. Now, I'm going to teach you 4 signals to pay attention to show you that you got your meals right, that you're balancing them properly. One of them is hunger. So you should be able to go 4 to up to even 6 hours between meals. That's how you know you're balancing your meals properly. You should not have any cravings. So sugar cravings are a sign that you are not balancing meals properly. So chances are blood sugar is way down, not balancing proteins, fats, and carbs properly. A lot of times it's because you're going way heavy on the carbs and not enough fat and protein. Energy. You should feel more energized. And then the last one is focused, mentally focused. So if you start to feel like really, really foggy, have a hard time concentrating, that is a sign you're not balancing your meals properly. Now, how do you know if your meals are imbalanced? Well, when you eat too many carbohydrates, these are some of the signals you might experience. You might get a headache, you might feel anxious, you might not feel satisfied, so you want to keep eating, you're grazing a lot. You might crave fatty foods, proteins. You might have a jumpy mind, might have a tired but wired energy about you. You might have a nervous energy. And then if you've had too much protein, you might feel kind of sleepy, depressed, sluggish. You might have a really kind of heavy gut. You feel full, but yet you want to keep eating. Or you'll crave stimulants. So you'll have cravings for coffee or chocolate or, just pure sugar. Those are signs you've had too much fat. So I want you to kind of tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, 10's the highest. How well do you think you are already sort of balancing your meals based on those signals that I gave you? Again, hunger, 4 to 5 hours, cravings, gone, energy, awesome, mental clarity, awesome. Like, where do you sort of place yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? Let's see here. Got 6, 7, 8. 8's pretty good. 2, 7, 10. Nice. Go Mary. She said she's at a 10. 6, 3, 4, 7, 5, 4. Okay, 0. Okay, thanks for your honesty. All right, ladies, nice. 4, 7. Okay, so we're seeing like all numbers. I only saw 110. I don't think I saw any. Oh, there's the 9. I was going to say I didn't see any 9s, and then it just came in. Okay, so here's the thing. I would say if you're not getting this right 80% of the time, then you need to really start paying attention. And one thing you can do is keep a journal. You don't have to do it forever. This is one of the things I have my clients do. I have them keep a journal for about 12 weeks. And even if you start with like 1 week, that's a good place to start. But keep a journal for a week and just write down those 4 things. How are my energy levels? How are my cravings? How is my mental clarity? And how is my hunger? And rate all of those things on a scale of 1 to 10. And if they're lower than an 8, if you're not getting it right like 80% of the time, then you really need to practice it. Because balancing your meals is so key to reducing this inflammation and feeling good. Okay, so that's just a recap. Organic foods, removing allergens, avoiding the sugars, the starches, the alcohols, because they do trigger inflammation. And I would say you don't have to remove them forever, but I would do it for at least the 30 days so that you can feel better. Reduce that inflammation, get your body healthy, and then balance your meals for your metabolic type. We're going to change gears now. Let's see if I can get this going. Just lost my spot. Perfect. So I want to just take a minute here. As I shared with you, I've had a lot of women apply the systems and strategies that I teach, and this is a really good example of someone who applied the strategy of metabolic typing, and she started eating more organically. She removed a lot of those foods that trigger the inflammation, and these were her results. And it just goes to show you how powerful it can be just to make simple lifestyle changes. So this is Jeannie. She lost 15 pounds. She wasn't even trying to lose weight. She said, that wasn't even my main goal, but that's the beautiful thing when you start to reduce inflammation in the body, your body just kind of naturally lets go of weight. Her energy went up, her aches and pains went away. She went off all medications. Of course, She has her doctor's blessing. She worked with her doctor to do that, but went off all of her medications. Bone density went up. Nails and hair were stronger. Like she came to me with this sort of laundry list of health issues, and they were gone after several months of working together. And again, she applied the very system that I'm showing you. So I'm just trying to kind of show you here that this stuff works. We're not doing anything fancy. We're just talking about really simple lifestyle changes. And if you're saying, gosh, I can't imagine eliminating all those foods, I got to tell you something. You're at a crossroads in your life right now. So you can either keep eating what you're eating, and the inflammation is just going to get worse and worse and worse. You're literally pouring gasoline on a fire every day. And then eventually things get so bad that we talk about really serious issues. So I'm here to give you the information. You get to decide if you want to apply the information and really feel better. All right, ladies, that's two. We had 2 more steps to go. So I've given you the first 2 steps. Now we're on to step 3. So we've talked about sort of the self-talk around our health. We've talked about the dietary piece. We now need to talk about sleep. And the most important thing you can do is to create a nighttime ritual to promote sleeping soundly through the night. The first thing I want to talk about is bedtime. Now, here's the thing about bedtime. Around 10 o'clock at night, our bodies start to go into repair mode. So we're meant to be asleep between 10 and 10:30-ish. So between 10 and 2 o'clock in the morning, our bodies release growth and repair hormones. And from 2 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the morning, our bodies release psychogenic repair hormones. So in other words, our mental, emotional, hormonal system goes into repair. If we are not getting the sleep we need, which is what we call sleep deprivation, and that's just we're not getting the right quality, we're not getting the right amount, it actually increases inflammation. And it also slows down your metabolism. Now, this is something that's very interesting. There's a huge connection between weight and sleep. So here's how your metabolism basically gets all distorted when your sleep cycles get off. There are 2 hormones that come into play that kind of go out of whack. So one of them is ghrelin, and that's the hormone that tells you when to eat. So when you're sleep deprived, you basically have more of this hormone. When you're sleep deprived, you also have the hormone leptin, which tells you to stop eating. It basically, creates this sort of combination where you have more of the hormone telling you to eat and less of the hormone to tell you to stop eating. So what does that mean? Basically, it's a recipe to tell you to overeat. And I'm sure you've experienced this when you've been sleep deprived. I know I have. I just want to keep eating because I'm so tired. My body just wants to put energy in it. It wants to create energy somehow. And that's what leads to weight gain. So in simple terms, when we're sleep deprived, our metabolism slows down. We eat more, we gain weight. And something else I want to point out is that poor sleep is also not just associated with weight gain, it's also associated with gut issues and bone loss. So trying to we're coming full circle here. The main issues we're talking about, the bones, the gut, and the belly fat, it's not just about what we're eating, but there's a huge connection between our sleep cycles. So I want to tell you something about one of the best strategies that I've learned and implemented. And I actually learned this term from a world-renowned sleep expert named Dr. Michael Breus, and he calls it the power down hour. And basically what you do is an hour before going to bed, you kind of just shift into relaxation mode. You train yourself to just chill. And so what you're doing is you're training your body to just sort of evoke those sleepy hormones. And you do that by doing activities that lower your stress hormone. They lower your body temperature, they lower your blood pressure, and they boost the sleep and repair hormone melatonin. And so many of us, we're so crazy, our lifestyles are just so busy that the very things we're doing before bed are actually making it harder for us to sleep well. And one of the things I hear all the time is, Melissa, I don't have a hard time falling asleep. I have a hard time staying asleep. Well, if that is your issue, then you need to really listen to what I'm talking about, because this is a great strategy to help you sleep through the night. So the power down hour basically works by taking the hour before bed. So if you're in bed by 10 o'clock at night, you would start this at 9, and you would break that hour into 3 20-minute sessions. And here's what they would look like. The first 20-minute session is your opportunity to kind of just wrap up your loose ends for the day. So you're going to do any, sort of prep for tomorrow. You're going to kind of just get things that have to get done that night, because, if you don't do them tonight, you're going to be stressing about them tomorrow. You're doing whatever you need to do to kind of start your day a little bit less stressful the next day. So maybe that means making out your to-do list, planning out your schedule. Maybe it means doing a brain dump. That's one of the things that I do. Like if I just have stuff on my mind, I just kind of write it down. Like even if I might have something that I don't have to do, maybe it's not till next week. Like maybe I have to pay a bill or I have to set up an appointment. I'll just write it down to remind myself. So, make sure you put this on your calendar. That way I can get it out of my head. You're dumping your brain of all the stuff, the clutter that you take to bed with you. Maybe you prepare your lunch. I know a lot of people, it's stressful to do it in the morning. This is what I did years ago before I started my own business. I now work from home, so I can kind of cook lunch in the middle of the day. But before I did that, I would usually make my lunch the night before, just because it saved me that time in the morning. Journaling, I have a lot of clients that I encourage to journal. So as I said, if you're doing like the metabolic typing journaling, you would do that right, maybe first thing in the morning and right before bed, just to kind of take, final notes for the day. And then just doing whatever you need to do to prepare for tomorrow. So that's the first 20 minutes. The next 20 minutes, you do your nighttime hygiene ritual. So, taking a shower maybe, or a bath. I take a shower every night, even if I've showered in the morning, because the hot water helps lower your body temperature. Obviously, it elevates it when you're in the shower, but when you get out, it lowers it. So for me, it's like a natural sleep aid. I sleep so much better when I take a shower at night. And then I use a lavender scented candle that doesn't have like any funky chemicals or in it. It's a nice pure candle in my bathroom, so I don't have the lights on. So I create this nice, calm, relaxing environment. Lavender, by the way, promotes relaxation. And then, in the shower, this is just a little tip for you. This is something that I do. I close my eyes and I'm standing there and I count backwards from 60. And it's just sort of like a little mini meditation. It doesn't take a lot of time. I put lavender oil on when I get out of the shower. This is just my ritual, but you can kind of create your own. But this one works really well. Obviously, brushing your teeth, putting on your PJs, getting into some comfy slippers. So just do whatever your nighttime ritual is. And then the last 20 minutes, it's all about just doing something relaxing. So that can mean stretching. It can mean reading something light. It can mean having a nice conversation, playing a game, meditating, praying, reading scripture. Maybe it's journaling, gratitude, affirmations, writing down, 3 wins for the day. But basically, you're training your body to relax. So here's a tip for you. If you find that, by the time 9 o'clock comes, you might be like, I forget, or you just kind of get into a routine. One thing you can do is kind of just set an alarm to go off, maybe like 10 of 9 to remind you. But it's important that you kind of use this time to set yourself up to sleep through the night. So it's not just about falling asleep, but it's about helping you stay asleep. And one of the main reasons why you're waking up at night is because your stress hormones are firing off when they shouldn't be. So this is such a great strategy for developing good quality sleep. And you got to make sure you shut off all screens. So whether it's the TV, the computer, the iPhone, and the reason that's important is because these devices flicker very, very quickly it's happening sort of, you can't see it to the naked eye, but it's happening so quickly and it's stimulating you. Your body actually interprets it as sunlight, which then interprets it like, okay, it's time to get moving because it's activating your stress hormone. So that wraps up step 3. We're now transitioning into your 4th step. Are you ready for this? I think some of you might be excited to hear this. Do not start an exercise routine until you've mastered steps 1 through 3. Now, for my exercise fans, I don't want you to freak out on me. What? Is she saying that I shouldn't exercise? It's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that when you are trying to create a sustainable lifestyle change, you have to make sure you're sort of focusing on the most important steps first. So in the hierarchy of things, we focus on steps 1 through 3, master those before we start an exercise routine. Now, there is an exception to this. If you have an exercise habit that's already it's already a habit, it's not something you have to really sort of kind of keep yourself motivated to do, like it's just natural, and it's not a mental, emotional, or physical stress, that would be an exception to this rule. So let's talk a little bit more about this. When you first start an exercise routine, it actually requires a lot of energy and willpower to get started and actually maintain it, to make it a ritual. You've got to be really, really energized to make sure that it's something that you're consistent with. And when we do rigorous exercise, it elevates the stress hormone cortisol, which is a stressor, which means that it's physically causing our body stress. And that can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. So let's talk about that. This is when it's a bad thing. If you're someone who's doing too much rigorous exercise, at the same time, you're not maintaining the mindset piece, you're not eating properly, you're eating a lot of inflammatory foods, not balancing meals for your metabolic type, you're not getting the sleep you need. What does that mean? It's a nice recipe for chronic inflammation. And we've already talked about what that means, but I'm going to say it again. More inflammation means gut issues, weak bones, excess belly fat, and a host of chronic health problems. So here's how you know if the exercise you're doing currently is right or wrong for you. If the exercise in any way is draining for you, so you feel really exhausted after, if you find yourself getting injured or you're getting sick easily, if your body feels achy and sore in a really bad way, when you start strength training, this happened to me a few weeks ago, I started strength training again and I was really sore the next couple of days. But I knew the difference between that kind of soreness and like not being able to move. You don't want to be sore to the point like where you're almost immobile, like you can't walk upstairs. Your body basically stops responding to exercise. So maybe you're gaining weight instead of losing it. Those are some of the signs that you could actually be doing the wrong kind of exercise for your body. And that's a sign your body may be saying, okay, I need to focus on those first 3 steps first. So I want to talk about the 2 different kinds of exercises and how they affect your body. So there's something called working out exercise. And I think probably everyone on the call has heard of this. Working out exercises are basically any kind of rigorous exercise. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. And then there's what's called working in exercise. And it has the exact opposite effect as working out. It actually relaxes your body, and it actually stimulates your rest and digest system. It actually boosts your metabolism. So let's break these down. So there's 2 kinds of exercise, just to repeat, working out versus working in. Working out exercises are any kind of rigorous exercise that elevates your stress response, gets your heart rate going, it makes you sweat, you're breathing heavy. So we're talking about running, kickboxing, lifting weights, doing boot camp, anything that really kind of gets the heart rate up and you're just like really sort of expending energy. That's what we call it working out. Working in involves using low intensity movement. So you're reducing your stress hormones, you're lowering your heart rate, you're lowering your breathing, you're bringing yourself into a state of calm and relaxation. And some of these examples would be doing yoga, Tai Chi, Pilates, light swimming, going for a leisurely bike ride. These are the kinds of exercises that create energy. So that's what we call them working in. Working out uses energy, working in creates energy. So I just want to kind of recap here. Any kind of rigorous exercise if you're not eating well, sleeping well, thinking well, is going to be a stressor. It's going to create a chronic stress. And that's when it's a problem. So this is why it's important, if you don't have the first 3 steps mastered, you have to really kind of rethink when you're exercising, what you're doing and how much. And just remember, what does that inflammation lead to? Gut problems, weak bones, belly fat, and the list goes on and on. Pretty much any kind of health problem is related to inflammation. So it's more important to focus on developing the mindset piece, thinking about yourself as a healthy person, changing the eating habits, and developing the healthy sleep habits first. Why is that important? Well, let's think about this. If we want to really reap the benefits of an exercise program, we need to have energy. And how do we create energy? Well, it's not from drinking coffee, and it's not from eating lots of sugar. That's going to give you a fake energy high. We get the energy from how we're thinking, how we're eating, and how we're sleeping. And that is the key to creating the natural energy that we need to start and maintain an exercise routine. And this is why so many people fall off track, because they don't think of it this way. Especially like it's that time of year, I bet most people are kind of falling off their New Year's resolutions. You join the gym, you go for a few days, and you're like, forget it. Because you haven't focused on the first 3 steps first. That's the problem. So you're going to know when it's time to add exercise into your life, because your body's going to just sort of have this natural desire to get moving. And it will come when you follow those first 3 steps, the mindset, the eating, and the sleep. I promise you. You get those 3 steps down and you're going to be like, I'm ready to move. Only when your body truly feels energized is it the right time to start an exercise routine. Now, if you're saying, well, this sounds crazy, to exercise less and focus on the diet and the mindset and the sleep first, I'll tell you, that's exactly how Shelly Hill felt. She's one of our Better Beyond 50 members. When I first met with her, she's in the military, and so she has to maintain a very strong level of fitness. And, she takes fitness assessments, every year in order to stay active. And I said, listen, I think you're overtraining. And I said, we need to focus on getting some of those first 3 steps in place before we really kind of go crazy with the exercise. And she was shocked. She said, but you know what? I'm going to trust you. I think you know what you're talking about. So she started exercising a lot less. She couldn't completely stop because she had some certain physical requirements that she had to meet. But I said, let's cut the exercise back. Let's focus on the other pieces here. And she said she was shocked that by exercising less and doing all the other pieces we talked about, that she started to lose weight. She lost 21 pounds. Not only that, in the process, by changing her diet and managing her stress differently, sleeping better, she went off all of her medications. She had some knee issues, digestive issues that went away. She had some pain in her wrist that went away. Energy went up. She literally feels like a new person. And she's like so many women in our community that just, she just thought she was supposed to be on medications because that's just what your doctors tell you to do. She thought she was supposed to have knee pain and, wrist pain because she'd had it for so many years. And so we start to accept these things, and that's why they become our reality. So we have to kind of interrupt that thinking and start to really start to have the conversation that, is that really a normal thing? Is that part of being older, or is it because that's what I believe to be true? And Shelly is just a wonderful, shining example that if you are willing to take responsibility for your health, you can feel amazing. Now, I don't know why you showed up today, but I imagine that, you're someone who's really tired of trying to figure out how to pull all the pieces together to create an effective plan. It's overwhelming and it's exhausting. And I'd be willing to bet that you're someone who wants to wake up every day in a body that feels really energized, feels, free of aches and pains, so you can do all the things you love with your grandkids or your husband or your friends. We've got a lot of people that like to garden and golf and go skiing and bike ride and hiking. We got to feel good to do those things. And deep in your heart, you know that you have to make a lifestyle change if you want to overcome the health issues with the gut, with the bones and the belly fat. So at the end of the day, it's time to make yourself a priority and take control of your health. And you have to do it in a way that is simple, that is sustainable, and that it's holistic. It has to look at the bigger picture. And it's important to take an approach that's taking in all the guesswork, it's laying it out for you, it's providing the guidance, the support, and the accountability that you need to be successful. At the end of the day, it's your time to take care of you, because I'd be willing to bet you've been taking care of everyone else for most of your life. If you're like most of the members in our community, they're taking care of their kids and their husbands and their grandkids and everybody else is taking care of their parents. And you got to put yourself on the front burner. Your being here today says you're interested in learning how to make a lifestyle change. And I'm here to help you do it in a way that is really, really simple. So I want to remind you that the plan I shared with you in this presentation is the very approach that I've used with hundreds of people to help them lose weight, feel amazing, feel better than they did 10, 15, 20 years younger. And while they're all very special women, they're special to me because they're all women that I've, had the pleasure of working with. They're not different than you. They don't really have anything unique that you don't have. All they did was follow a system. They followed a plan. And if they can do it, you can do it. So I have a question for you. How would you like to achieve the amazing results that you've seen and the success stories that I've shared with you, and get the right knowledge, the right tools, the right support system that you need to be successful? Well, I have an opportunity, special opportunity for you to join what we call the Better Beyond 50 30-day reset. Now, I've given you a lot of great information tonight. I've given you a really simple plan. But if you want to kind of take things to the next level and you want to get even more guidance, more support, and more accountability, here's your opportunity. Now, I want to tell you about Liz. Liz is also someone who applied the strategy that I teach with the 30-day reset. And she was like so many women who thought, okay, I'm supposed to be overweight. I'm supposed to have blood pressure problems because everyone else in my family does. In fact, when she met me, her mom had just passed away. I think it was about a year or two earlier. And she said, my mom had cancer. She had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I'm a little nervous. I'm going to head down that path. And my doctor's telling me that there's nothing I can do about it. He basically said, take drugs or you're going to suffer. And I said, well, let's see if we can make some changes here with lifestyle. And so by the time we were done working together, she said at 51, I feel better than I did in my 40s. And that is my goal. That is my mission with Better Beyond 50, for you to say, I feel better than I did 10, 15, 20 years ago. So Liz had amazing results, feeling better in her clothes, energy went up, sleeping better. She had a very stressful job at the time, able to keep up with the demands of that. Here's the sort of real clincher in all of this. Her blood pressure started at 148/72, and her doctor had basically said, the only way to lower that is to take drugs. And I said, I disagree. Let's see if we can change lifestyle first before we go there. And sure enough, she got it down to 115/75 without taking medication. So she proved her doctor wrong. So I'm here to show you, I'm here to tell you, ladies, you have incredible power over your own health if you're willing to make a change. This is Sue. She came to me because, like a lot of moms, she's like, I'm tired. I've got cravings. And, listen, I have this mommy belly that I've had, since I had my kids 20 something years ago. I like to lose it. I haven't been able to lose it in 20 years. Well, by applying the very system that I'm teaching you, she lost 11 pounds. She actually went down to full pant size. She was shocked because it had been 20 years. She just wasn't able to do it. Sleeping better, cravings went away, energy went up. She even noticed changes in her skin. She had rosacea. And what's really interesting is that a lot of skin issues are tied to the gut. So we get the gut healthy, the skin issues go away. So here's my special opportunity for you. Tonight actually kicks off the grand opening of the Better Beyond 50 30-day reset. And you have an opportunity to take advantage of something special. where you can actually join our program at our early bird price, and we're only offering it to the people that sign up tonight. And you also get some amazing bonuses. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that opportunity right now. Here's the thing. Becoming a member of the 30-day reset, the Better Beyond 30-day reset, it's not just about like losing weight, or it's not just about a meal plan. I mean, you will get, if you follow the plan, I have no doubt you'll lose the weight. You'll get the meal plan. It's really not about that though. It's about joining a community of like-minded women who are going to support you in your journey. Because this is about looking at the second phase of your life as an opportunity to make it the best years of your life. So I want to take a minute to tell you a little bit about what it means to be a part of this journey. It's about better self-care, learning to take better care of you. It's about being a good example. So many women in our community are moms, they're grandmothers, their wives, their sisters, their daughters. It's about being a good role model to your children, your grandchildren, and really your family as a whole. It's about creating a healthy body. It's about feeling energized and strong. It's about being able to enjoy an active retirement so you can do all the activities you like. Most of all, it's really about educating and empowering yourself to be the best version of yourself. So when you join the 30-day reset, you get these amazing tools and strategies to help you basically get back on track when life happens. So it's not just about sort of saying like, here's a meal plan, here's an exercise plan. The most important thing that you can, that I think any woman can get is are strategies to get back on track when life happens. Because at the end of the day, being perfect is never going to be the end goal. In fact, perfectionism is sort of the number one thing that I think holds most people back. So this is about learning the strategies to get back on track when life happens, and it's about getting a support system so that you know exactly what to do and when to do it, so that you are refocusing quickly and easily. So I'm going to take a minute here to tell you exactly what you get with the 30-day reset plan. The first thing that we include are 4 live weekly group coaching calls. And I'll tell you just a little bit about what you get with each call. The first session is just all about clarity, focus, and emotional well-being. So you discover how to set clear goals the right way so that you can maintain the energy, the focus, and the stamina. It's about learning how to refocus and recenter when life happens and pulls you off track. Unfortunately, a lot of health programs don't teach you how to do that. And it's going to happen. If you don't learn how to get back on track, you end up staying down and you think you failed. So we have a built-in system. We expect you to fall off track because that's life. So how do you get back on? You're going to learn how to retrain your brain to sort of break those cycles of the negative self-talk that keep distracting you. And this is really about learning how to make self-care your number one lifelong priority without feeling guilty about it. You have to take yourself from the back burner and put yourself to the front. You have to take yourself from the bottom of the list and put yourself at the top. And that is what this process is really all about. So that's what session number 1 is all about. Session number 2 is about gut health, nutrition, and your metabolic type. So you'll discover how to eat in a way that's going to reduce chronic inflammation. So I'll actually give you a plan, a meal plan, food lists, so you'll know specifically what to do and what not to do. I actually break it down for you and show you how to customize your meals. So you do get a metabolic typing assessment. Again, this is about learning how to stabilize blood sugar, balancing hormones, and eliminating cravings. I will teach you how to save time and money by planning quick and delicious organic whole food meals. You don't have to break the bank to eat healthy. You just have to have a plan. That's so important. In fact, when you learn how to plan properly, I think you'll actually find that it's really, really easy, and you'll spend so much less because you're not going to be buying junk food. Junk food's expensive. And you're going to learn how to eat clean in a way that's simple and sustainable without counting points or calories or weighing food or anything like that, or without feeling deprived. Session number 3 is about sleep, stress, and your hormonal balance. So you're going to discover how to enjoy a full night of uninterrupted sleep so you can actually wake up feeling refreshed the next day. So we got lots of strategies for that. Improving your sleep quality so that your energy is up, mental clarity and focus is up. We balance blood sugar and hormones, because remember I talked about sleep deprivation impacts weight. So this is not, it's about energy, it's about weight, it's about metabolism. We've got to get you sleeping through the night if that is an issue. We also talk about eliminating what I call energy robbers from your life. Energy robbers are stressors that basically rob us of our vitality. So we talk about how to eliminate them so we can actually restore our energy and vitality. We also talk about how to break the stress fat cycle. And then there's a huge connection between stress and weight and all kinds of other health issues. And so when we sort of learn how to break that cycle with healthy strategies, weight loss essentially becomes ridiculously simple. And I find the stress piece, by the way, is something that's missing in so many wellness programs. So it's not just about the diet piece. We have to talk about sleep and stress. And then the 4th and final week is where we address bones, joints, and physical activity. So you'll discover how to exercise in a way that feels good. It's natural. It's not something you're forcing yourself to do. Simple stuff you can do from home. You're going to learn how to actually do simple exercises to strengthen your muscles, your bones, and your joints without actually needing a ton of equipment. Again, right from home. You'll discover how to prevent injuries by correcting any sort of existing muscle imbalances you have. So improving your flexibility, your balance, your core. And then you'll discover how to feel energized and reduce pain with energizing exercises. And what I love about energizing exercises is that you pretty much do them using your own body weight. There's a few of them where you use a stability ball. But other than that, it's really simple stuff you can do at home. So in addition to the 4 live weekly coaching sessions, we do 4 live weekly accountability calls. So here's a quick schedule of when we're going to be doing them on Thursday nights, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard. Now you might be saying, well, I'd love to join the calls, but I don't know if I can make them all, or maybe the time doesn't work. We record all of the calls and you can listen to them on your own time. And you'll have access to a support community where you can post all of your questions. So you can still engage in the calls, because I will respond to your questions on the calls, but I'll also respond to them in the community. You get done for you action step plans. So you don't have to wonder what to do. How should I be eating? How do I, change my sleep habits? What should I be doing for exercise? I take the guesswork out. I give you the roadmap so you know exactly what to do. Whether it's choosing the right foods, how to simplify, the meal planning, how to choose the most effective exercise. You get the plan. It's just done. You just have to implement it. You also get comprehensive nutrition, fitness, and lifestyle assessments to evaluate how your current lifestyle is impacting health. And we're going to use those assessments to create your personal wellness plan to help you reduce your stress load and reduce your inflammation. You get customizable meal plans, food lists, and guides for grocery shopping and eating out. And this is designed to give you the tools to help you save time preparing meals, save money when you go to the grocery store, and stay true to your plan when you eat out. Customizable exercise plans that you can do in less than 15 minutes, like literally 10 to 15 minutes, without leaving your home, never going to a gym. And everything's available online. You have all kinds of instructional tools, how-to videos to show you how to do them. And again, everything is available online. So no matter where you are, as long as you've access to a computer, you can access the full program. Now, in addition to all of that, you get these amazing bonuses for free. They're worth over $100, but you get them for free. You get the Better Beyond 50 recipe book. Comes with over 150 delicious whole food paleo recipes. They're sugar-free, grain-free, designed to reduce inflammation. So again, heal the joints, heal the gut, burn the belly fat. Bonus number 2, you get the Better Beyond 50 Success Journal to help you track your wins, identify any challenges, and inspire you to keep going by tracking progress. Bonus number 3, you get the Better Beyond 50 complete supplement guide. So you get a complete list of the essential vitamins and minerals that you need, plus the recommendations for the ideal serving sizes and the best brands to buy. Bonus number 4 is the essential paleo pantry guide. So I will literally give you a list of the staples. Like, this is what you want to keep in your kitchen, in your fridge. Keep this in your cupboards so that you always have the foods available to make the healthy, simple meals. Now, I do want to tell you that in order to join the 30-day reset, you need to be a member of Better Beyond 50. And I'll tell you why I only open it up to members. The 30-day reset is a jumpstart program. It's designed to give you everything you need to get clear, get motivated, get started achieving your goals really, really quickly, in the simplest way, the most practical way, the most actionable way. But here's the thing, you know this. If you want to maintain your health goals, you have to make a lifestyle change. And you can't change your lifestyle in 30 days. It's just not going to happen. It takes at least a year to make sustainable lifestyle changes. So when I say sustainable, I'm talking about change that's going to last the rest of your life. So what I do is I offer an annual membership to Better Beyond 50. It's a coaching and support community so that you can get ongoing support, guidance, and accountability throughout the year to be successful. Now, you know as well as I do that there's going to be times when you fall off track and you're going to lose focus. It's going to happen. It's life. Your Better Beyond 50 membership has check-ins to help you refocus, to help you reignite your motivation, to help you get back on track and do your most important job, which you know is taking care of you. So as a member, you get the most up-to-date women's health information from top holistic health experts, the best support and guidance to apply what you're learning. You get a 4-step simple plan to reduce the inflammation so you can heal your gut, build those strong bones, and eliminate that belly fat. Now, when you join tonight, here's everything that you get with your membership. You get members-only invites to the 30-day reset, so I've just explained that to you. In addition to that, you get monthly meal plans. So I basically remove the stress of having to figure out what to eat by giving you go-to recipes. And they're all whole food recipes. They're quick, they're simple, just done for you so that you don't get bored eating the same stuff. You also get exclusive access to the BB50 support community. So you can share your successes and challenges, get ongoing support. If you have a question 24/7, you can post in there. I always respond to the questions, but many of our members respond as well. So you get lots of support there. And then I've got 2 really cool bonuses for you when you sign up by the end of our call. One of them is a coaching session with me. So I normally charge $200 for a session. That's the value of my time. And you get to do a coaching call where we'll discuss your health and wellness goals. I'll help you address the number 1 challenge that's holding you back. And then we'll create a personalized plan to help you get started. And you're going to leave with a clear, straightforward, actionable plan to help you live an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. Really, really simple, and I break it down for you. Your second bonus is a digital access pass to the Better Beyond 50 Women's Health Summit. So this is a summit that I did this past fall. We have over 23 expert presentations from a bunch of different functional medicine doctors and naturopaths, fitness experts and authors, really great stuff. All kinds of natural solutions to deal with the most common health challenges that women over 50 face. Whether it's arthritis or osteoporosis, sugar addiction, cholesterol, lots of really good stuff. So you get that for free. And you also get special members only prices for private coaching. So if you say, Melissa, I'd really love some additional one-on-one help so we can really personalize your plan and kind of create a sustainable, long-term, step-by-step plan, that's a great opportunity. And you get to save a pretty significant amount of our normal sort of one-on-one coaching packages. And again, that's just a nice little extra bonus. And then we do have some more surprise bonuses that we're going to be adding throughout this year. So lots of really cool stuff. Now, I want you to imagine what your life's going to be like after you become a Better Beyond 50 member. I want you to imagine looking forward to buying new clothes. That's what many of our members, they're constantly posting. One of our members posted recently, I no longer have to wear elastic jeans. I can wear normal jeans again. That was so exciting for her. Look, imagine being able to fit better in your clothes, wearing stuff that's more stylish, that makes you feel good. I want you to imagine, looking in the mirror and just feeling really proud because the person staring back at you is, she's got her mojo back. She's radiant and she's energetic. Imagine waking up bursting with so much energy that you don't need stimulants. You don't need to drink coffee. You don't need to eat chocolate to stay awake. And imagine maintaining that energy. I want you to imagine being able to move really easily and freely without feeling, that stiff, achy feeling, just when you walk up and down a flight of stairs. I want you to imagine going to the doctor and your doctor saying, you are the picture of health. Numbers couldn't be better. I want you to imagine having all the stamina you need to keep up with your grandkids when they come over to visit. That's another thing we hear. Like, I can play with my grandkids and actually be able to keep up with them. Sometimes they're getting tuckered out because I have more energy. I want you to imagine, taking a family vacation or maybe going for a walk or a hike with your family. And it's not only easy, but it feels good after you've been moving around for a few hours. You're not in the pain and discomfort you normally experience. I want you to imagine, looking at your retirement years as the best years. You have so much energy that, you're traveling and playing golf and, spending quality time with your husband and your friends. I mean, you're feeling amazing. So you might be saying, hey, I'm in. That sounds like a good plan to me, but how much does this cost? So let's talk about the investment. What I've done is I've created this holistic health coaching program and community so that you get the best guidance, tools, and accountability without having to break the bank. So I've really worked hard to bring you something that's affordable. And with the 30-day reset, you're not going to have to spend thousands of dollars like you would, if you were to hire a personal trainer. I am a personal trainer, by the way. And so you're going to get all the goods of working with a personal trainer without having to spend all that extra money. You're not going to have to deal with trying to sift through the competing and conflicting advice that you might get from different doctors and nutritionists. Like, everything is just sort of laid out for you. You're not going to have to waste the time and energy going through the trial and error that comes with trying to find the right plan for you. Because what's great about the 30-day reset is that it's customizable to you. It's not a one-size-fits-all plan. I teach you how to customize it to you. All you need to do is show up, be willing to actually apply what I teach you, and you'll see results. It's that simple. As part of your BB50 membership, you can actually join the 30-day reset for only $297 a year. So it is a year-long membership, as I explained before, because we want to make sure that after the 30-day reset, you, for the next 11 months, are getting the ongoing support that you need. So it is a year-long membership. Now, there is one catch. The 30-day reset starts in just a couple weeks. It starts on Monday, February 6th, Monday, February 6th. So you only have until next Tuesday, the 31st, to sign up. After that, we need to kind of get everything ready to get the program started. So we are going to be closing the doors. We have an early bird special though for you. When you sign up by the end of the call, you can take advantage of our promotion and you can get these two pretty cool bonuses. So one of them is a $50 savings. So instead of the $297, you get to take advantage of the early bird special for $247. And this is something that we are only offering one time. We'll probably never offer it again, just because it's the 30-day reset this is sort of our grand opening, and just kind of a special gift we want to offer to the people that join us early. So if you don't take advantage of it, you will miss it. It will go away. It will never come back. And the other thing that you're going to get is a bonus coaching session. So not only do you automatically get one when you become a member, but when you do the early bird special, you get an additional coaching session. And that's a $200 value right there. If you were to work with me, and I don't typically do one-off sessions, I usually do a series of sessions, but a coaching session with me is valued at $200. So that right there is, you're going to get $400 in one-on-one coaching for $247. So I think that's a pretty cool opportunity. So here's what you need to do to sign up. Really simple. You're going to go to the website, joinbb50.com. And really simple, just, click the buy now button. As soon as you sign up, you'll get a welcome email. And then a few days before the program starts, you'll get an email from me with all the details to join the calls, and pretty simple. And by the way, you do not need to be tech savvy. We'll talk about that actually in a minute when we get to the Q&A, because I imagine that some people may have that question, but it's super, super easy to access the program. Now, before we wrap things up, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about our 100% risk-free guarantee. I'm really committed to helping you put yourself first and creating the life you deserve and really making this next phase of your life the best. That's why we call it Better Beyond 50, because it really is about feeling better. So you can actually participate in the 30-day reset program for 14 days risk-free. So what that means is you can join the calls, download the materials, participate in the community. If you're not totally blown away and you don't feel like you're getting 10 times the value, because that's what we aim to do, literally give you 10 times the value that you paid for, I'll give you a refund. But I do want to tell you there's a little bit of a caveat to that. To be eligible for a refund, you have to actually show me that you tried. You have to show the hands-on exercises for all of the available coaching sessions up until within that 14-day window. And the reason I do that is because I know that if you actually apply what I teach you, it will work. And I do this on purpose because I really don't want someone to sign up and be like, oh, I'll check it out. I didn't really like it. I'm going to ask for a refund. I don't want you to sign up if you're not like 100% like, I'm ready to do this. It's just going to be a waste of your time. It's going to be a waste of my time. And so I'd like to be upfront about that. The refund is only for someone who is honestly given the program 100% effort and didn't get any results. And you know what? I don't deserve your money if I'm not helping you. So if you do the work, and quite honestly, we've never had to refund someone who does the work, who actually applies it, because I know that the system we have in place is effective. I've been doing it for enough years now. We've had enough women go through our program. Like, we know that the system is effective. If you need any help for any reason, just feel free to email us at support@betterbeyond50.com, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. We really try to respond within 24 hours. If it's a weekend, sometimes it'll be, if you email like on a Friday night, it might not be till Monday, but we really try to get back to you as soon as we can. So that's the best place to go if you need any support or you have questions. And I am going to stick around. I know we've been on the call now for an hour and 50 minutes. I really wanted to give you a lot of great information, because whether or not you decide to join Better Beyond 50, I wanted you to at least get a good plan to get you started after our call tonight. So I am going to stick around, though, if anyone has questions about the program, you have questions about signing up. If you have any questions about anything I've talked about tonight, I'm going to open up the chat, and we will certainly address that. But before we do, we are going to get into the Q&A. I just wanted to, say just a couple words here. I imagine that you came to this call because, you're saying, listen, I'm not feeling good. Whether it's because you have aches and pains, or you've got some joint issues going on, your gut issues are bothering you, you're not feeling good in your clothes, whatever your reason, I imagine, that you can't, there's a part of you saying like, okay, I'm really sort of just not sure where to start. I'm feeling really overwhelmed, which is why I gave you this 4-step plan. I mean, I laid it out for you, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you're looking for some additional help, maybe you want to take things to the next level. The 4-step plan that I gave you, no doubt, is a great plan. But there is a little bit more to it, which is why I created the 30-day reset. So we can kind of really get into a little bit more detail and give you more support, more of a community atmosphere, and give you, that ongoing accountability. And I literally lay it out for you. So you have a literally, it's the 4-step plan is kind of an expansion of what I talked about tonight. It's equally simple, but a little bit more comprehensive. And maybe there's a part of you that's saying, like, I'm nervous though. Like, I don't know if I can make the changes. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to do it. And everyone feels this way. All the women I talked about tonight, and I have so many testimonials. I wish I could have told you about like all of them. But there's so many amazing women in our community. They felt exactly the same way. They have, so many of our members have done it all, really. And they felt lost and confused and just thought, gosh, I'm 50 something, 60 something years old, or maybe in your early 70s, and you're like, this is it for me. So many of our members felt that way. And if you think back to what I talked about in step 1, how you talk to yourself about health. If you were willing to break that ageist stereotype, I have no doubt sky's the limit for you. If these women can do it, you can do it. They're ordinary women. These are not like fake people that I just kind of pulled like random photos off the internet and made up stories. These are real women, real struggles, real challenges, just like you. So I just want to emphasize that, it really comes down to how willing you are to make a change. Are you open to making a lifestyle change? And this is another thing I hear a lot. I'm busy. Maybe you're saying I'm busy. I just don't know if I can make the commitment. I don't have the time to cook. Melissa, you didn't say anything about microwavable foods and eating out of boxes and cans. Well, that's right, because I want to be very upfront with you that I advocate eating real food because that's what we're meant to eat. So I'm not going to lie to you and say that, I'm going to be encouraging you to eat stuff out of boxes. But I am going to teach you how to eat clean in a way that is simple. And that's why I've created the meal plans. I've created the food list for you. I've really tried to kind of give you everything that you need to keep it simple. And one of the things that I do in the support community is, you'll find that I post a lot of the foods that I eat. So you can see what I'm eating on a day-to-day basis, and I show you how simple it is. I mean, most of the recipes that I'm making are really quick. It really is easy. It's as easy as you make it to be. And then final thing, I don't have extra money in my budget. You talked about organic foods. I can't afford it. And I want to emphasize that even though I'm a huge advocate for organic eating, it's not like you have to eat 100% organic to be successful. Many of our members just transition from processed foods to whole foods. And they slowly start to incorporate the organic food. And that is enough. So I don't want you to be intimidated here. Well, gosh, she said organic and I can't do 100% organic. In an ideal world, that's how we would all be eating. But even I don't do it 100% just because it's not realistic. But I will show you simple strategies to make it more affordable. All right. So like I said, join by the end of the call. You get some really special cool deals. You get to save $50 off the membership fee. You get to get a bonus coaching session with me. And I promise to knock your socks off and give you unbelievable support. I really try to over deliver. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to stick around and answer questions. Let me just turn the chat box on. If anyone has a question for me, feel free to type it in the chat box. And while I'm waiting for some of the questions to come in, I'm just going to address some of the other questions that I've had people send me via email, because I know not everyone, unfortunately, was able to come to the call. So I want to make sure I answer questions. But let's see here. So I'm seeing a question about. Okay, so Karen. Simony, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her last name right. She says, I have hypoglycemia, seem to need grains to feel full. What's interesting, Karen, is that grains actually cause blood sugar fluctuations. And so I personally, number one, recommend that you do not eat gluten. Number one, I did an interview actually with a gluten expert on my summit. I'm just going to take a break here and take a quick sip of water. So excuse me because I'm losing my voice after talking for 2 hours. If you do eat grains, make sure that they are gluten-free. And I highly recommend that you eat them in extremely limited quantities. The best way to feel full, as I talked about, I don't know if you were here for this portion of the webinar, I talked about the metabolic typing. You got to up the protein and the fat. All right. Low potassium diet. Can this, Barbara's asking, I'm on a low potassium diet. Can this work for me? Absolutely, Barbara. It's totally customizable. So you can certainly make it work for you. If for some reason you have to keep potassium low, you can certainly work with that. If I am already a member, do I have to pay the additional? Nancy, no. Nancy, since you are a member, you do not. It's part of your membership. So woohoo to you. Yes, good question. Let's see. What is the ideal bedtime snack? That's a great question. Well, here's the thing, Lori. It really comes down, it's different for everybody. This is why I'm a big fan of metabolic typing, because really we need to figure out what your metabolic type is and then balance your snack according to that. So if you're a protein type, you're going to want to go a little heavier with protein. If you're a mixed type, you're going to be somewhere in the middle. But generally speaking, if you don't know what your metabolic type is, just to kind of help you get started, I generally recommend that you start with a little bit higher fat at night. And what's interesting is that people think it's the opposite. I've consulted with diabetics that have been told by their doctors, oh, you should have a lot of carbs before bed. And I'm like, I don't know what your doctor is thinking, because carbs convert to sugar, which means blood sugar goes up and then it's going to crash. And that's the last thing you want to do before bed, because a lot of times you'll experience a blood sugar crash in the middle of the night. And that is called nighttime hypoglycemia. So Lori, what I would do is I always have people start like as a mixed type, 50% carb, 50% fat. And that could be something like, if you can have nuts, like nut butters, raw cheese is a great source of protein. And then you want to have like a low glycemic carbohydrate. So like you could have like a couple slices of cucumber with it. Or like I might have like carrots with almond butter. So something like really, really light. I wouldn't recommend like having like a heavy protein, because that makes it really tough to sleep at night. But I hope that answers your question, Lori. Little bit of protein, little bit of carb. I would start as a mixed type and see how you feel. If you get hungry, you may have to up the protein. Karen's asking about quinoa. Yeah, so there's interesting like debate about quinoa. Some people say it's technically a seed. It really is a grain, just in terms of how your body responds to it. So I would put it in that limited quantity. Yeah, here's the thing. My general philosophy is 80-20. So eating clean, whole foods 80% of the time, that gives you 20% to feel like you don't have to be perfect all the time. And so 20% would be the grains, if that makes sense. You don't want to feel like, I'm not a fan of following diets, just really like strict diets, because they're not effective. I mean, I think depending on if somebody has like a serious food addiction, then I think that would be an exception. But for the most part, I'm a fan of 80-20 because I think it works for most people. So grains would be in that 20%. I wouldn't eat them every day. I personally don't eat grains. They're out. They're completely out of my diet. It took me a few years to get there, but they're out. All right. Let's see. Keep going here. Are you eliminating all dairy? I think this is from Nancy. So the thing is, Nancy, when it comes to dairy, we need to have the conversation about the quality. I know that there are some, quote, health experts that think dairy is bad for you. But if you're having raw organic dairy products from a really good source, they're actually really beneficial to you. So the question is, what's the quality? And the other question is it an allergen for you? I know I've had to do some experimenting with myself. Like there's certain dairy products, as much as I enjoy eating them, I don't react well to them. So I personally do okay eating fermented dairy, yogurt and kefir. I love them and I feel really good eating them. But cheeses and milk and pretty much any other kind of dairy product it's out for me. So you kind of need to go through this reset yourself. Will you help us with finding the metabolic type? That's Glenda asking that. Yes, that's part of the reset, Glenda. So we do the metabolic typing questionnaire, and then I teach a whole lesson on how to actually eat according to your metabolic type, because there's a learning curve to it. You have to learn how to listen to your body to make sure that you're balancing meals properly, and I teach you how to do that. So Barbara's asking about, she was just diagnosed with stage 3 kidney disease and high potassium. I'm not sure what the question is. Barbara, with BB50, we can't make specific health claims. But I will tell you, so I can't say, that we can help you overcome those issues. Just legally and ethically, we can't make those claims. But I will tell you this, we've had so many women come into our community with lots of different issues. And the women that are willing to make the simple lifestyle changes really do see amazing improvements in their lives. And so I like to emphasize that, this is not a weight loss program. This is really a health program to help you alleviate stress in your life, to alleviate inflammation in your life. And as we talked about, when we reduce inflammation, which is really at the root of pretty much every illness, pretty amazing things can happen. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, so I have a question about how to get the free bonus. So I want to make sure I address that. So at the very beginning, I told you that if you stuck around to the end of the call, so thank you, ladies, for those of you that are still with me. What you're going to do is you're going to go to joinbb50.com. And you're going to basically scroll to the bottom of the page. And at the very bottom, you're going to see that there's a link to the bonus, and you'll get instant access to it. So there's the answer to that. Let's see here. Let's see. Any suggestions for thinning hair? Yeah, that is oftentimes associated with some sort of hormonal imbalance. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I can't legally and ethically diagnose health problems. But here's something that's interesting. I've had a few people in our community, Jeannie was actually one of them. We've had a few people that start following the dietary piece. Diet's huge when it comes to hormones. And they just start to notice like their hair gets thicker and shinier and stronger. So a lot of it's hormones, it's vitamins and minerals, which is all connected, keeping those things in balance. I know someone mentioned taking biotin. The thing is that I'm certainly a fan of supplements, but we've become very like supplement crazy. It's like I have this health condition, so I'm going to take this specific supplement for this condition. Especially, I know not everyone on the call is from the US. In the United States, it's, we're very symptom drug oriented. So if I have a specific health symptom, I'm going to take a specific drug for it. And, now we're moving towards symptom supplement. And the problem with that approach is that it isn't, our bodies just aren't that simplified. So, you might say, well, I have X condition, I'm going to just take this vitamin. And the reality is that, like, for example, we can just use bones as an example because everyone knows this. Okay, we need calcium for strong bones, but the misconception is that that's all our bones need. So we just take a bunch of calcium. What we don't realize is that we need other minerals in order to absorb the calcium. And then our bones need other proteins and fats and other minerals and vitamins to keep rebuilding itself. So if we just focus on calcium, we're missing part of the puzzle. And not to mention, if you take too much supplemental calcium, it can lead to calcification and all these other problems. So I like to look at diet and lifestyle first. And what's amazing is that, 90 to 95% of the time that when we make these changes in our lives, we alleviate a lot of health issues. So we have to kind of look at the bigger picture. Let's see here. Marsha's asking about hip pain, rheumatoid arthritis. Absolutely, Marsha. First of all, what the bonus, Marsha, that I've provided for you for sticking around tonight, if you go to joinbb50.com, I have a whole expert presentation, by the way, about that with David Getoff about arthritis. What's amazing about arthritis is that it is triggered by inflammation, and like 99% of it can be healed through diet alone by following an anti-inflammatory diet. That's the good news. And then on rare occasions, diet isn't enough and someone may need to take specific supplements, but 99% of the time it works. So again, I can't make specific health claims. We can't do that as a health coaching company. We can get in trouble if we say we can help with certain health issues. But what I can say is that we can help you reduce inflammation, and inflammation is often tied to arthritis. Okay. All right, lots of questions here. Barbara said, can you provide the email address to ask questions? So Barbara, the email is support, SUPPORT at BetterBeyond50. Andrea is asking about fasting. Yeah, I'm a fan of fasting. In fact, I pretty much fast every day. And everybody's different. But I basically don't eat until 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, and I probably have my last meal around 8. Tonight's an exception because it's a little after 9 o'clock at night here in New Hampshire, and I'm probably going to have a little snack because otherwise I won't be able to eat. But I sort of do like a fast every day. What's interesting is that I've been doing some new research about this, and I was reading some information by Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride about how the body detoxifies basically, and from, I think it's something like 8 o'clock at night till about 10 o'clock in the morning. And so despite what we've been told for years, eating an early breakfast isn't really great for your detoxification system because your body's still trying to clean itself out. So I like to sort of look at it as sort of something I do on a daily basis. And some people, Barbara, depending on specific conditions you have, you may have to do, like an all day or half day fast on occasion. I hope that answers your question. Okay. Kathy asked about olive oil, why it's not on my list. Yeah, Kathy, unfortunately, I wasn't able to kind of list everything. Olive oil is certainly an oil I recommend. Making sure it's cold pressed, making sure that it's organic. Unfortunately, there's a lot of brands that aren't really legit companies. They're kind of shady. But yeah, the thing with olive oil, unlike like a coconut oil, is that you can have too much of it. So I don't recommend going crazy with olive oil. I just, you can actually eat too much of it, and it can actually contribute to weight gain, unlike coconut oil. Glenda is asking for the bonus. So here's what I'm going to do. Chris, how can I bring up my... Let's see here. It should be just go to joinbb50.com, and it should be at the very bottom of the page. Deborah says, if we're already a member, how do we get the bonuses? Yep. So Deborah, they're available for everybody. Even if you're a member, you can actually, yeah. Okay. So in order to get the bonus, just so we're clear, because I've had a few people ask this, you need to go to the website, joinbb50.com, and you need to scroll to the very bottom of the page, and you'll see the link right at the bottom. So that's for members and non-members. You can get it right there. All right. Just going to keep going here. Okay. Sheila asks a great question. Is metabolic typing definitive, or can you change from one type to another? That's such a great question. The answer is yes, you can. You can certainly change. So that's why I like to use it as a starting point, but it is not like a diet like that's set in stone. And there's a lot of different things that can come into play, like the weather. Here in New Hampshire, it gets cold, very cold in the wintertime, and we have beautifully warm summers. So in the wintertime, your body typically needs a little bit more protein and fat, whereas in the summertime, it typically wants to eat like more fruits and salads. So that's one variable. Stress plays a factor. Menstrual cycles play a factor. Various health conditions, play factors. There's lots of different things that come into play. But the beauty of it is that, you're getting it right just by listening to your body. So it can change, and that's part of what I teach in the 30-day reset. How do you kind of navigate your way through to make sure that you're always getting the right balance when there are some things that can change? Okay. Can you come here? Dorita says, I'm so excited. I can't believe that too, but I have always been told breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Yes, Dorita is a member. She and I have talked about that. Right there. Keep getting asked that. Good. Wow. Okay, great. So we have a lot of people joining us. Awesome. Lots of people signing up. I'm so excited. Okay, Lois, she's asking about the bonus again. And Robin's asking again, ladies, if you go to joinbetterbeyond50.com, it's at the very bottom. Sorry, joinbb50.com. I'm sorry, it's 9:15 over here. I'm starting to get my little tired. Joinbb50.com. And we got lots of people joining us, so I'm so excited. This is very cool. Lots of new members. Okay, we're going to keep going. I got a few more questions. Okay, so someone's asking about protein powders. Okay, so here's the thing about protein powders. Generally speaking, I'm not really a fan, and I'll tell you why. A lot of them are manufactured by taking a protein from a specific source. It might be like, whey from dairy. It might be like protein from pea, like a pea protein. It might be a soy protein. And part of the concern with that is that the way the protein is extracted, it's done under high temperatures, and it denatures the protein. So, and then it turns it into something dangerous. So that's a concern. Many protein powders, I read an article a number of years ago in Consumer Reports. Many of them have heavy metals in them. Many of them have weird natural flavorings. You know, you see the word natural, by the way. Natural flavor can mean a lot of things because companies don't have to list specific ingredients. So it could mean 50 things that you don't get to see. You know, you see like natural vanilla. Well, what the heck does that mean? You don't really get to know. So I personally have really struggled to find like a really good, legitimate quality protein powder. If you're going to make like a smoothie, I'll tell you what I do. And I know that this used to freak out some of our members, but now some of them are doing it. I will put a raw egg in my smoothie. So I'll take, you know, greens, I'll take vegetables, fruits, whatever, and then I'll put a raw egg in there. And I think that's the best source of protein you can possibly get. A good quality, raw, organic, pastured egg. You could also, you know, if you're scared to do that, just some people are just freaked out by the idea of raw eggs, although it's phenomenal. Raw eggs are so good for you. You could use avocado. You could put nut butters. You could put chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds. I make my own nut mix. But yeah, generally, Glenda, I'm just not a fan. I've also noticed like a lot of people develop digestive issues because protein powders are processed. You know, at the end of the day, like even if it doesn't have all the additives, it's still processed. Years ago, I used to really be into like strength training, and I used to do a ton of protein powders, and I developed really bad digestive problems because my body just didn't know how to break them down. All right, so Glenda, I hope I've answered that. Bonuses, okay, right. Good. Carrie, thank you for helping people out. She's telling people where the bonuses are. Good. We have some people saying thank you. I'm just going to take a quick scroll here, make sure I didn't miss sometimes the questions come up so quickly that I miss them. So I'm just going to take a quick look here. Rima, I missed your question about gastroparesis. I'm not familiar with that specific condition. But as I've said before, you know, we can't make claims about specific health conditions. But I can tell you that we've had people with all kinds of gastrointestinal issues achieve pretty amazing changes by making the, you know, simple changes in their diet, eating clean, reducing inflammation. So I hope that helps. You know, at the end of the day, you know, 80 to 90% of our health is in our gut. So we have to make sure that we're keeping it healthy, keeping it balanced. And a big part of that is a lot of what we've talked about tonight. The thoughts we think show up in our gut. The foods we eat help us maintain a healthy gut. As we talked about, sleep deprivation is a stressor. It can compromise the guts. How we exercise is a stressor. So all of these things are connected. So I hope that helps answer your question. But I can't, unfortunately, make a specific health claim, you know, for a specific condition. All I can tell you is that we help you reduce inflammation and reduce stress. And a lot of times that means overcoming common gut issues. Okay, we're still moving here. I'm just gonna give me just a second as I kind of scroll through some of these questions here. People that there have been a few people asking questions about, let's see, hair thinning. I've seen a couple of those. If for some reason I'm missing your question, please email me at support@betterbeyond50. And I'll do my best to help you out there. Just gonna keep scrolling here. See if I missed any questions. Some people are saying thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for coming tonight. Okay. Yes. All right, Maureen and Diane and Christine, welcome for coming. Last the chat info. Yes, you did just join. Glenda just joined. Awesome. You're welcome, Nancy. Thank you. If you're Rebecca's asking if you're a vegetarian athlete and you take away protein and you're a metabolic type protein dominant, it makes it complicated. Yeah, I have to be honest, Rebecca. I am a proponent of eating animal protein because we run the risk of developing some major deficiencies, vitamin wise, mineral wise, when we remove the animal proteins. We certainly don't try to force people to eat a certain way, and we certainly respect people's choices in how they eat. But at the very least, having eggs, if you choose not to eat meat, having eggs and fish are going to be really, really important. And as I said before, I would put raw eggs in your smoothies. And avocado and nuts and seeds are going to be great for you. Jeannie says, I love this program. Nothing has worked for me like this program. Jeannie is actually, it's awesome that she's on the call tonight. Jeannie was the woman I was telling you about earlier because she was the one that, had the amazing changes in bone density, and she lost weight and saw changes in her skin, hair, and nails. Aches and pains went away. Digestive problems went away. Jeannie's one of our shining stars. Yes. Thank you for that, Jeannie. Robin says, how long will the bonus be available if I don't have time to watch them tonight? They will be up until we close down the program. So they'll be up until next Tuesday, the 31st, which is essentially when we will be closing down registration to join the program. Barbie says she's nervous, but she's excited. Barbie, I understand, anytime you start making a change in your life, it can be nerve-wracking because here's the thing though, being a little bit nervous is good because, I think that the things in life that make us a little bit scared are the things in life that make us better people. They make us stronger and wiser. And I promise that this is going to be a really rewarding experience for you if you really put your heart and soul into it. And she's on the call. She's one example of that. She put her heart and soul into it, and she's achieved amazing results. And she joined us over 2 years ago. I mean, she was one of our very first members. So there's no question that this is going to be a great experience for you. Dorita says, thanks. As a member, I learned a lot tonight. I can ditch my expensive protein powder and just use an egg. Never thought of that. Yeah. Dorita, it's kind of funny because protein powder companies probably don't want health coaches like me discouraging people from eating them because they really are big money makers. Like it's like $1 billion industry, But I don't know. Why do we need to eat protein powder when we can just have real food? That's just my philosophy. Okay, Phyllis says, thank you very much. Reinforces what I practice. Looking forward to the bonus video. You're so welcome, Phyllis. Glad you came tonight. Good, lots of thank yous. Thank you for coming. Okay. Julie says she's awaiting payment confirmation through PayPal. Julie, if you have any issues, just shoot us an email at support@betterbeyond50 and we'll help you get through that. I got my Chris is on my support team, so if he's not able to get to you, he will. If I'm not able to get to you, he certainly will. Great, lots of people saying thank you. All right, ladies, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming tonight. 2.5 hours later, we got our diehards. Those are the ones that are still on the call. If you have a question, please don't hesitate to reach out. Support at Better Beyond 50. For those of you that have joined, I'm so excited. Yay, yay, yay. Glad to have you with us. And I look forward to kind of helping you, really kind of turn a new leaf this year. 2017 is going to be your year. And I hope that you got something out of tonight. Hope you're feeling inspired and, leaving with a simple plan. And I look forward to helping you feel even better. All right, ladies, I don't see any other questions coming in, so we're going to call it a night. Thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.